Hi, I'm Zach and I like movies, and it's time to do a review of the newest movie from Ryusuke Hamaguchi, Evil Does Not Exist. This is the latest movie from an acclaimed Japanese director, Ryusuke Hamaguchi, who he managed to reach international audiences with his pair of 2021 movies, Wheel of Fortune and Fantasy, and his widely celebrated Oscar winner, Drive My Car. And rewatching that movie in preparation for his new one, I was still struck by how it's very entrancing movie, but at times a little frustrating. It does feel like I'm kind of missing out on some things with like the intertextuality of the story with like Uncle Vanya and stuff. But it is a very and yeah, the 3-hour runtime can feel a little daunting, but when you really surrender yourself to the rhythms and the patience and the quiet, it can really sneak up on you. Like especially Wheel of Fortune and Fantasy, I was really moved by that movie. But he's decided to follow up that success with Evil Does Not Exist, this latest one, and it is quite the elusive movie to really just come out with in general. Like, not just follow up the success like that. Like, honestly, I want to say we have a masterpiece on our hands, but also I feel ill-equipped to even review this movie in any way after just watching it the one time. Like, even having sat with it for like overnight, I still don't know if I should even put this video out, because it's so purposefully designed to be enigmatic, and it's a movie that will like have you asking, sort of asking like what happened, both in the way of like what does it mean, but also no, seriously, what happened. So, to give a synopsis, it's set in this rural Japanese village, and it almost seems like an eco paradise. You know, all the villagers are like, they've built harmony with the nature surrounding them, and we only focus on one guy, Takumi. He's sort of a jack of all trades, does a lot of odd jobs around the place, and he lives with his daughter Hana, and and the first like third of the movie is like really in no rush at all, and it's just showing us the various rhythms of the lives in this village. Like, especially with Takumi, like he's chopping wood, he's smoking some cigarettes, he spoons water out of a well, carries that water, and we would hear gunshots off in the distance of hunters hunting out deer, and his daughter would go out exploring in the woods, and he would pick up his daughter from school and stuff. But then this Tokyo-based company comes to the village, and it proposes a glamping site. It's basically like this touristy camping site, right? That wants bring tourism, bring businesses, and as a show of good faith, and as a show of good faith, they sent out these two representatives, this man and a woman, who like they give like a community presentation and a Q&A, and the villagers are really not really having it. They're very like a little like some are more standoffish than others, but they're very like clear that like they really don't want they really don't want the site here, especially like the way that it's being proposed. Like the septic tank is inadequate, and the system would just like end up poisoning the nature. And as they say, what happens upstream affects downstream. But we see in a later Zoom meeting that the two have with their corporate boss in Tokyo, that it's just clear corporate inadequacy, clear corporate ignorance. Like, I think one of them even says a little pollution doesn't harm the water, which man, that just says a lot, doesn't it? But the representatives themselves, they do have good intentions. They definitely want to be on the villagers' side, but they don't understand the balance that they need to understand. And again, like upstream, downstream, stream. And what I find so fascinating about this movie is that on the, because it's deceptively simple, because it does appear simple on surface, just like clear sort of harmony in nature kind of story, and like there's a like townies coming, there's like a culture clash of like townies coming into like with like people living in the woods, but and like them not understanding each other, but what is also, but like in how the movie is like shot and being filmed, there is this like this like strange undercurrent of tension, and it feels, and it's something that isn't like apparent until you start to feel it. Like a lot of that is like displayed in the editing. Editing is fantastic, because there would be like these scenes where like you're watching Takumi and a friend like spoon out the river water and carrying up to like their car, and you would like watch them just carry the water, and you would hear, and the only thing you would hear is the just absolutely incredible and yearning score by the composer Eiko Ishibashi, who, my God, this score is one of the best of the year. You absolutely have to hear it for yourselves. I'll put a link in the description, and you'll just sort of like watch them, and you'll hear this, you'll watch them work, and you'll hear the score, and you'll sort of be lulled into this trance, and like just sort of be this very meditative state, and then it will be abruptly cut out. It will just abruptly cut to a different scene, and like all the sounds will be taken away with it, like sort of like the air's been sucked out. Then you will only hear the sounds of the forest, the crunch of the leaves and sticks, and the sharpness of Takumi's chainsaw. He's like sawing into some firewood, and especially at the end, a lot of these cuts wind up being very fragmentary. You never get a clear picture of what is going on, because the ending, the ending, like a thing happens. I don't want to spoil anything, but a thing happens that does feel very sort of almost logic breaking and very, very sudden. Because of how like this is, how the tension has been built in this almost unassuming way, it suddenly pulls over. Like it felt like there was this very fragile balance in the nature and in the town within the nature that could have been broken at any point. And when it is finally broken, I felt this like aching pit in my gut that just kind of devastated me. I don't think I've felt anything like that, especially from the ending of a movie, since I saw Burning by Lee Chang-dong. My God, like ugh. But yeah, it's so interesting, and it's interesting because it doesn't feel like Hamaguchi is like Hamaguchi is like in complete control at all times, but it doesn't feel like he's like asking questions, or at least begging questions. It's almost like he's sort of or even like he's like telling this story in a very symbolic way, like X represents Y kind of thing. It feels more like he's just, it does feel like a fable. I mean, it even says I think he even called it was even like called a fable. But it is sort of like, does have this sort of like folk like storytelling to it, in the sense that here's what it is, and here's how it is, and how things are, and when it's over, I'm just going to step away and let you sort of work your feelings on it. And even in the title, evil does not exist. It doesn't feel like a question. It doesn't even feel like a thesis of it. It's just sort of a statement of just almost detached matter of factness. Evil does not exist. But I have sort of like two meanings, two ways of thinking about that. One, the way that it's like worded, and in the opening credits, and it's because it's they're written in the because it's like written out in blue in like blue lettering. Evil does exist, and the knot is in bold red. And one, I sort of recognize that as a reference to Jean-Luc Godard's Pierre Le Fou. At least I'm pretty sure it was. And I'm not sure how I'm supposed to feel about that, if that even is a reference, and if I even am supposed to take something out of that. And two, I sort of read the title as sort of a sort of just matter of factness of nature, as we sort of like think about like evil as like some act and some feeling that we do to others and to ourselves, and but like with nature, there it just sort of we can't really like conceptualize evil in nature, like like a wounded, like say a deer just acts as it does. It eats eats the grass, eats the leaves, and just does what it does. And if it's a wounded deer, even does what it does. But we need to understand it's simple cause and effect. And again, and what happens upstream affects what happens downstream. And it's needing to us needing to understand that. We need to understand in nature evil does not exist. That we need to understand what we and from that we could better understand at least one of my readings of it is that understanding that evil does not exist in nature, and or even like even just in nature, that we can better understand how to react properly to it. And yeah, it's a very fast. Yeah, I just find it a very fascinating movie. It's not a long movie. It's on the shorter end of Hamaguchi's movies, at least compared to Drive My Car, or even some of his other ones. Like he made a movie called Happy Hour, I think back in like 2015. That's like it's like 5 hours long, but yeah, this is like under 2 hours. And honestly, I really could watch this again and again. I think if you do count yourself as a cinephile, this is a must watch. You cannot miss out on this movie, and it's so beautifully shot too. Like some of the shots of like the water looks absolutely gorgeous, and like the water, and even like again a lot of the nature shots too. Like it's sort of the movie is bookended by these two like motion shots where we're looking up at the sky through these like wiry tree branches, and it almost I guess it's almost sort of giving us the idea that that the sky and nature are that the sky and that the clouds and the sky are one and the same as the earth, as the trees and the ground. Sort of that harmony and this balance of harmony and this balance that needs to be understood and maintained and respected. And I also was really impressed by Hamaguchi's use of color too. Like the daughter stands out very well in like her blue snow jacket and these white glove and these bright yellow gloves. Very use of colors. And again, it's a slow movie. It's a very meditative movie, and it is it's meant to be an enigma. I still don't know what all I'm supposed to make of it, and I think that's probably the greatest gift any movie can give me. Just constantly give me plenty of reason to keep coming back to it and keep watching it and keep trying to just get more out of it. Honestly, I think this movie's going to haunt me, and I'm very excited. I cannot wait to see this again. And yeah, as far as reductive rating goes, I'm feeling a light to decent 9, but again, I don't know if like the one viewing is enough to even warrant a rating or anything really. I just really need to see this again, and I really think you should watch this too. And what did you think of the ending? What did you think of Evil Does Not Exist, and what did you think of the ending too? There was definitely a lot to get out of this movie, and man, Hamaguchi is just really one of the modern greats. So yeah, I think that'll be it. Comment, like, subscribe. What did you tell me what you thought of the movie? And I have more movies to watch, and I hope you watch them too. And I will see you later.